going on, guys? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we help you understand the system your soul goes into. This is MoonDaes with Michael. I'm your host, the Royal Archangel Michael, and I'm cutting out the esoteric middleman and giving you the tools you need to connect yourself right to the source. Today's video is going to start us down a long path of talking about spiritual communication. Now, as it turns out, spirits are actually really bad at communicating in this realm because they don't have a physical body. They can't just walk up to you and talk to you like I'm talking to you right now. So what they have to do is use different ways of communicating with you. And this is feelings, thoughts, life experiences, your surroundings, situations, vibrations, dreams, orbs, auras, things of that nature. But today, we're going to be talking about orbs. And we're starting off this series with orbs because light is the purest form of energy that is represented in this realm. So for example, you know when you started down your spiritual path and people are always talking about the amazing things that happen when they open their third eye, or technically their first eye since the spirit came first, they were talking about all the things that they could now see, the different orbs, the colors, the auras. The hype behind this is because that light that they see around you, that energy is a reflection of your state of being. Where are you? How are you feeling? Which is why there's so much hype behind it. So without further ado, let's start talking about what the colors of orbs mean. Alright guys, so before we actually get into what all the different colors mean of an orb, we need to talk about the application of actually seeing an orb and what exactly it is. So you can think of an orb as a little light body that a spirit shoots off to give you a certain message. To understand this message, we need to look at the situations and experiences that we were actually caught up in to understand the message. Now what we need to look at is the thoughts and feelings that we had going on, who was around us, what were we doing, and then once we look at that, let's look at the orb. What color is it? How does it make you feel and think? And then what happens after that moment occurs? How are you feeling? What was your reaction to it? Now what this equals out to is us actually needing to understand the situations that we were just in. Basically understanding the state of being that you were just resonating at before, during, and after the situation that has just occurred, for us to understand what the message actually is. But with that in mind, let's hop into what the colors actually mean.
What's going on, guys? So the video for me talking about this first color got deleted, which is kind of ironic because the color happened to be black. Black is probably the most misunderstood color because while it does represent, negativity and things that are negative in relation to you, it also represents being observant and active, right? Now look at the color black. Black is caused when all of the light is being absorbed into that object and nothing is being reflected. So when you're seeing black, it is just representing the realm of all possibilities, because with all the light being absorbed, there are countless possibilities for you to actually go and express yourself and be in a new situation. So don't be afraid of black and don't fear the realm of all possibilities.
Well, so let's talk about brown. Brown represents being lazy, bored, cynical, judgmental. Think of it like this. Let's use water as an analogy. Water representing energy in this case. What happens to water as it flows? It becomes clear. It loses behind all the things that is holding it down. Now if you stop that water and it becomes stagnant, it becomes brown, muddy, right? And you don't want to go swimming in muddy waters. Physically, spiritually, esoterically. I know those are the same thing, but I'm bored and lazy. I gotta say it twice. Green. Green is the color of growth, grounding, grasping, and discernment. Now, think of it like a farm. Are you going to go ahead and start a circumstance or situation that's supposed to help you grow in a place where there's no vegetation already growing? I ain't think so. That's a bad idea. So if you see a green orb, that could tell you that you're resonating at a state of being that most earth signs do. Green. Growth, structure, stability, planting the seeds for a situation that can help you grow in some area of life. Alright, so purple. Now, this is actually not a color that I've seen used in the shape of an orb, but we're still going to talk about it. So purple. Purple represents being sad, guilty, remorseful. You're feeling maybe sorry about something. Now, let's actually talk about purple dye. You think peasants were going out to buy purple dye? No, it was expensive. The royal people, the nobles, were the ones that were going out buying it because they were the ones that were existing and had time to be in that state of being. Now, take a good look at history. Are nobles and kings, royalty, really the nicest people you know in the kingdom? No, they're the ones that are making all the peasants do all the crappy work. And that ain't cool. So if you're seeing purple, there might be a situation or experience coming to you or that you've been through that is making you feel sorry, guilty, or remorseful. Alright, so the color pink. The color pink represents love, loving, relationships, being self-centered, desire, and passion. Now, if you're seeing the color pink as an orb, this could be telling you that you're being too loving, receiving love, or you know what? Maybe you're just around a Libra way too much. No, I'm just kidding. Libras are cool. Unless you're a Libra sun. Alright, so the color orange. Orange represents creativity, expression, experience, education. It's a color that seems to be very uplifting. Now, when you think about orange, basically just think about the sun. The sun is our expression, how we consciously see the world. And what does the sun do? Sheds light. When you think of the color orange, you can think of Aries or Leo. Think of fire, your expression. Now, they have so much energy that when they have their little light bulb moment and all those boxes are being checked, what do they got to do? They got to express it in some way, shape, or form. This could have the light shined on them or just running through different experiences, making it known that they were there. Alright, so the color of red. When you think of red, you can think of the planet of Mars. Now, not necessarily, but they kind of both mean the same thing. Red, passion, expression, action, your desires, your willpower, your motivation. This can also mean that you're in a situation or experience where maybe you're not being patient enough or where you shouldn't be patient. For example, think of an Aries. You think an Aries is just going to sit by with an idea or motivation and just be like, I should really, think on this, reflect on this. Heck no, they're running straight through that idea and you ain't going to see it coming. Now, the Scorpio side of this. It is basically the exact opposite of what I just said. It's dark and it likes to take things in and hold it there. A Scorpio ain't going to go running through a door like Aries. No, it's going to stare at that door, Real intense. It's going to think about it very hard until the feeling of wanting to run through that door gets so strong, so intense, that it either has to run through that door or just forget it about entirely and walk away. Alright, so the color blue. When you think of blue, think of communication, ideas, travel, and emotion. So for example, when you're traveling someplace you may have never been before, typically out of the country, what are you going to see? You're going to see the blue sky or maybe the blue water that you're traveling on by boat. When you think of blue, also think of a water sign. Water signs are used to represent emotions and feeling, which is why they're used to represent the color of blue. Alright, so the color yellow. When you think of yellow, you can think of being fun, energetic, having a lot of energy, uplifting, creativity, and expression. Now, when you think of yellow, what do we typically think of? Lightning, thunderbolts, right? Think of the electric signals going around in your brain. They're kind of just like giddy, making you zap around, have a lot of energy, right? The color yellow also represents the zodiac sign of Gemini. When you think of a Gemini, you kind of think of a person who's bouncing off the walls, spouting ideas left and right, having a lot of energy. It kind of makes them seem very unsettling, or they're not very stable. So when you're seeing yellow, you might either got to ride that wave with the Geminis, or you got to bolt on out of there. Alright, so the color white. White is the color of innocence, purity, right? Think of black. Black is absorbing all light, where white is reflecting all light. You can think of this as children. What are they doing? They don't really have a lot of knowledge and awareness except for the little bit they were taught in school, so they're usually just expressing their own light, and there's not really a whole lot to it. It's innocent and pure. You can also look at the zodiac sign of Cancer and the planet, the moon. When we think of Cancer and the moon, we typically use white or a silvery gray light to represent them. Why is this? Because one, the moon helps you reflect the light that you've taken in by your sun sign, but let's look at Cancer. What is it doing? It's cardinal water. It is creating the vibe, creating the feeling behind what you're doing, aka creating the own light that you can express yourself with. Anyways, now that we talked about all the different colors that an orb can form as, let's take a look, bring this back full circle, and see what we're paying attention to for an orb's message. We want to look at what we were doing before we saw the orb, what were we doing when we saw the orb, and what happened after the fact. We want to pay attention to the surroundings. Who are we with? How are we feeling? What are we doing? And what are we thinking? Now, two other things to mention real quick. Now, we mentioned all the different colors, but what happens if you see one that resembles two? Well, throw that message together. For example, if you see orange and pink, that could mean that there's a loving message for you, trying to help you express your own creativity and provide you with an experience. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is, how many orbs are you seeing? They move pretty quick, so you might not be able to see all of them and count all of them, but if you are able to, keep that number in mind, because that number could mean something totally different. But anyways, guys, if you guys really like this video, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up down below and a comment so we can interact with you. If you guys want to keep yourselves updated on the daily alignments, make sure you check out our Instagram and follow us down below. Links right there. And if you want to support us, you can request a natal chart with our email link down below, as well as checking out our Teespring store. Anyways, fly high, y'all. Today's video is gonna walk. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, you're getting your bloopers.
Mm-hmm. No more bloopers.
And then, I don't know where my next thought was going.
Okay. Look at this man. He's all stuck. Ah!
My leg got caught. All right. You filming?
No, keep petting.
Now the Scorpio side to red. It's you smiling messed me up.
I know.
Alright guys, now that we're done talking about all the colors that we can see being used in the form of an orb, that was a little kind of just not